the thing that has worked for me is to remember the hard times. So, and I'm sure you guys all have your processes, and again, I'm gonna tell you what worked for me. So before a big movie comes out, before, back in the days when I was wrestling with WWE, a WrestleMania match, anything big that would happen, I would always take a moment and I'd just remind myself, all right, I was evicted when I was 14. We were kicked off the island. We couldn't live in Hawaii. Had no place to live. A lot of shit happened then when I moved to Nashville. I was arrested multiple times by the time I was 16 years old. I would remember that, and it allows me then to be present in the moment and understand, holy, the stuff I have around me right now, this is the shit that I dreamed of when I was a kid. I am here. I played for University of Miami, played for great teams. Warren Sapp, Ray Lewis, they were my teammates. They were balling. Warren Sapp was playing tight end that time. I was starting defensive tackle. Yeah, they moved him over to D-line. And he looked at me, he's like, yo, dude, I'm gonna take your spot. And I said, you ain't taking my spot. He said, I'm gonna take your spot. I said, no, you ain't. We battled, and he took my spot. Now you can imagine how that with me, because there goes my opportunity. He went in, switched to defensive tackle, lit the world on fire. Well, what that did, it crushed me, it crushed my dreams. I had a piss poor senior year, zero production, no NFL, no combine invite, nothing. Finally went to the CFL, Calgary Stampeders, making $250 a week Canadian. Now I had to send that home to my wife at that time. Had no money. So I remember that. When I got cut from Canada, my dad in his pickup truck came down 4 o'clock in the morning, picked me up in Miami from Tampa. We lived in a little apartment in Tampa. He drove down in his little pickup truck to Miami to get me when I was cut from the CFL. And I thought, well, I leave home like you guys left home. I'm ready to tackle the world, to get after it, achieve my dreams and goals. Crushed by 22, 23 years old. Now I gotta move back in with my mom and dad. I played on great teams though. Wait a second, this is not supposed to be my future. I'm supposed to be in the NFL right now. I'm supposed to be making a lot of coin and buying my parents, buying me, taking care of my wife, but it never happened. So I pulled out my wallet, I thought, well, let me see how much money I have. I opened it up, I had a 5, a 1, and change. Well, at least I rounded up to $7. But I thought, God, ain't this a bitch? I got $7 in my pocket. Where the f do I go now? What do I do? I can't go back to CFL. The point comes where you hear that voice, the big run's over. Like, you're done, right? So I heard that voice. So as Coach was saying, man, I hold on to that. I'm telling you, my back is up against this mother. We laugh, we joke, we have a good time, but my back is still up against this mother. I do not forget it. What this also helps me do, and again, it works for me, is at some point, you gotta be tired of not being number one. You have to be, and you gotta play angry, and I play angry. Now, I'm cool and calm with my approach, and when I step out on my field, which is a set, or, like, there's some, and you're always gonna have haters, and haters are like, well, God damn, man, how many movies are you gonna make, or how much shit are you gonna do? Like, you do a lot of shit. I say, yes, because my ambition, of course, why not? I could do it, yeah. I love what I do. And not only that, but in what world do we not work every day? My back is up against this thing, and I started to play angry, by the way, and I still play angry. My last match, Brock Lesnar, transitioned, and I realized if I had to be great at something, I wanted to be great in this world of Hollywood and movie making and producing and entertainment, I had to commit, and like you guys have to commit. Obviously, you commit to something, commit to the goal. So I quietly retired. 2 years later, I thought, what did I do with my career? Because my movies were not doing well. I was written off. It was around 2006, 2007. I was like, I pulled a Jim Brown. I left when I was on top, like number one in the wrestling business, and I left. It was a ballsy, gutsy, some call it stupid move, but I had to commit and I had to follow what was in my gut. What helps me is to keep the hard times in the front of my mind, because it allows me to go into these big moments that I've worked my ass off, and you guys have worked your ass off. It allows me to go into these big moments with a different perspective. What it also does for me, and again, this is what works for me. Like, my back is up against this mother. Every day, it's against this wall. But it's up against this mother, because it's what I believe in. And when my back is against this mother, then there's nowhere to go. But that way, that's it. Doesn't mean you don't smile, doesn't mean you don't laugh and joke, right? You're happy, I'm a happy guy. But when it comes to business and when it comes to executing, it's up against this. And I gotta go that way. And I don't give a fuck who is in front of me. They're not gonna stop me. The key for me was, where does it start? What's the anchor? What's the anchor? So I could have all these ambitions, and you guys have all these ambitions, which is great. It's important. I'll play this role, you'll play that role. I'll execute this thing, and it'll come out this summer. You guys will execute this thing during the summer, right, when it's time to really put in a lot more work. But the key with me is just always finding what the anchor is. And the anchor is getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day before anybody else, and grounding my thought process is in the no one will outwork me. No one. I love and I respect you guys. You motherfuckers won't outwork me. All starts with this. 2 hands, putting it to work. My last match in WWE, I'll share this with you guys too, is that, again, because there's a little bit of takeaway here from all this, is I wrestled John Cena. And I went in, I think it was 2013, I went in WWE champion, and we went in MetLife Stadium. We had a record-breaking attendance, which was amazing that night. We accomplished our goal. So I wrestled with John Cena. We had 45 minutes planned for the match. It's nonstop, go, right? So your conditioning is tested. And at that time, I wasn't full-time in WWE. I was just doing these spot matches where I was still shooting G.I. Joe, I think, or Pain and Gain at that time. It was Fast and Furious 6 in London. Had to travel in the ring, get all my ring work in, travel back to shoot Fast and Furious, then back, WWE Raw, doing those shows. The big build up to WrestleMania against John. We get to MetLife Stadium, it's a big night, this is it, it's game night, right? It's championship night for me. 45-minute match planned out. There's no cut, there's no, all right, well, let's pick it back up tomorrow. You know, it's go time, it's just like you guys in a game. At the 15-minute mark, bang! I feel something pop. I'm like, boom, what the I'm laying there, and both of us are out. I said, oh, something's going on. And I stick my hand, that was 85,000 people, right? And we're just laid out like this. I kind of roll over, I stick my hand down in my trunk just to see, I want to make sure that there was no bone sticking out. So if there's no bone sticking out, what the something just happened. Referee comes over and he's like, Rock, you all right? And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm all right. I said, I get up, I go to step, and I can't step. I can't do this. I have to use my leg like momentum. I gotta do that. So now in that moment, and you guys are gonna have these moments, you probably already had them already, where you're in the game and you're in the thick of things, and you gotta make a decision. What I gotta do? I'm gonna stay in the game, committed to the team, I committed to my team, the entire roster, right? So I could tell the ref says, are you okay? And I have one moment. In this moment, it was a defining moment. I could either tell him, no, I'm done. He'd give the signal, match is over. Or, let's keep going. We have this decision. And I said, no, let's keep going. I said, how much time is left? He's like, 32 minutes. I'm like, okay. Rest of the whole match, couldn't move, doing everything like this. I'm getting scared because I'm thinking, man, well, what happens if I pinch something or something like, you know, I don't know, your mind starts fucking with you in the moment. There's 85,000 people, your adrenaline's rushing. Thinking, man, what happens if I'm gonna lose my leg or some shit like this, if I've just done something to my artery? Final move of the match is his big finishing move. And I remember I'm getting up and I'm turning like this because I have to fall into him. He's gonna hit me with his big finisher. I remember turning into John and he says, and I remember thinking to myself, God, please don't let this be too bad. Just take care of me. Take care of me. Bang! I feel boom! Now I don't know what the just happened. Now luckily the match is over, he pins me, 1, 2, 3. Comes in the back, I get to the back, I can't move. Now I'm getting a little nervous. Get on a jet, rushed home to my doctor's down in Florida, and get an MRI, find out that I have completely torn my adductor, the top of my adductor and my top of my quad off my pelvis. What I was proud of was to walk out on my own, but not only that, but in this moment where the odds are against you, people are watching, your team's depending on you, you either say, I'm done, or this whatever the is going on, it's temporary, and it may fuck me up at some point down the road, but I'm not gonna let this opportunity go by without giving it my all. As you guys know, there's nothing you can't accomplish. You're gonna go on, you're gonna become world champions. The key for me, well, I think one of the keys is, remember where you came from, keep that in the front of your mind, and when shit goes bad and it goes sideways, a lot of shit does, you're getting booed out of the building, or you're coming through this injury, or people are writing you off, oh, you guys ain't make it, any of that, you gotta keep it in here. And it really has to, it should drive you, it should. It works for me, it should drive you. You get all the talent in the world, it's all here. Really the two things I wanna say are, you gotta be the hardest workers in the room, and don't f the opportunity up.
Want to be happy? Build a life, not just a business. Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know you've got something more inside you too. You've got Michael Jordan level genius at something. So today, let's live your best belief life and learn how to create powerful, positive beliefs and habits. Enjoy. Rule number 2, keep the discipline up with David Goggins.
Every day of my entire life, I lived like it was day one, week one of Buds. So I prioritize trying to win the battle in the morning. So I always win the battle in the morning. So I get up in morning time, every morning I go for a run. That's the first thing I do every morning. Haven't taken a day off of running since December 2016.
All right, so you're a retired Navy SEAL. You went through the Air Force Special Operations Community. You've deployed to Iraq, broken the world record for pull-ups, run a few ultramarathons. So what do you say when you're introducing yourself to people? Like, how do you introduce yourself to people with all of that?
Well, kind of how you said it right there. I'm David Goggins.
So what got you interested in the SEAL community in the first place? Like, what caught your eye?
Well, I was spraying for cockroaches when I got out of the Air Force. I was spraying for cockroaches. I was about 297 to be exact. And I saw this Discovery Channel show on TV. And I was like, and that Discovery Channel show was just guys going through Hell Week. And I saw these guys freezing, a lot of water. And I was like, you know what? It brought back memories of me going through pararescue training. So at 297 pounds, I decided to try to be a Navy SEAL. And to make a long story short, I had to lose 106 pounds in less than 3 months. And that's where it became challenging for me. So I knew to lose 106 pounds in less than 3 months, you're looking at 3,500 calories is a pound. So I was basically doing a whole bunch of math in my head. So I knew if I were to stop and be stagnant, there was no calories being burned. So I just basically trained all day long. So that's how I went. And before I knew it, I lost the weight. But when you lose 106 pounds in less than 3 months, you're not in the best shape of your life. You got a lot of cardio in, but you're just not in great shape. So my first place in the Navy was Buds. So, my first indoctrination to the real Navy was Buds.
So how did that go, like getting to Buds then, not being in the greatest shape and maybe not necessarily healthy?
I wasn't in bad shape, but my body was broken. Because when you go from 297 to 191, in that time period, and you're running, you're starting to break yourself. So I broke myself before I even got into Navy SEAL training. My first time going through Buds, I got to Hell Week, stress fractures, double pneumonia. I got rolled back day one, week one. Second time going through Buds, I actually fractured my patella before I got into Hell Week. Made it through Hell Week with a fractured patella, went 2 weeks after Hell Week, and then, because I didn't want to get rolled back to day one, week one.
Yeah.
But I couldn't keep up with the class, got rolled back to day one, week one, after Hell Week. And then I went through my third time and I graduated that class. We had a guy die in that third Hell Week, class 235. So that's kind of how it happened.
So what did that feel like to keep getting rolled back, keep going through Hell Week? Where did you go when you were doing that in your mind?
What I started figuring out going through Buds was that the harder something is, the more it was challenging my mind. So I had to find different ways to stay in the fight. And in staying in the fight, it got me tougher and tougher and tougher. So I'm actually happy I went through 3 Hell Weeks. I never examined myself. And as a human being, you gotta examine yourself. And I guess the best place to examine yourself is Navy SEAL Hell Week.
3 times.
So I got to examine myself a few times. So it started there. It started in Hell Week. And it's still going now at 43 years old. Once
you graduated, after getting your trident, where did you go after that?
I graduated August 2001, August 10th, 2001. And as we all know, less than a month later, September 11 happened, you know? So once that happened, my guys were going to airborne school. We got the word about it. I went to SQT, SEAL qualification training. And after that, I went right to SEAL Team 5. And then my second platoon, we got the call. We went to Iraq. I was at SEAL Team 5, Bravo platoon again. Got the second call, went to Iraq. So that's kind of how it went down.
I understand that you lost some friends in Operation Red Wings. So what did that feel like to you?
Being that I was in 3 Hell Weeks, I knew a lot of the guys. I knew every guy that died on the operation. Mm-hmm. So the story touched me so much, I wanted to find a way to raise money for their families. So I found the Special Operations Warrior Foundation. If you're a special operator and you die, it will give 100% tuition to your son or daughter to go to college. Okay. Great foundation. So now I gotta find something to do to raise money for it. So I started Googling all these different races. I found the Badwater 135. So it's a 135-mile run through Death Valley in the summertime. Had no idea about ultra running. I'm 250 pounds, I'm a big meathead. So here I am, calling the guy up on Wednesday. He goes, hey, you gotta qualify for this race. I go, how do you qualify? He says, you gotta run 100 miles in 24 hours or less. I'm like, is that even possible? I haven't run over 20 miles the whole year.
Yeah.
Going through Buds, I started realizing that you have to learn to control your mind in these situations. Okay. So at mile 70, when I was in the worst shape of my entire life, I was able to draw on being calm. I was able to finish the race.
What's your current daily workout routine? Like say on a long day where you have plenty of time to just do whatever.
Well, even if I don't have plenty of time, I get it in. Yeah, I make it. So I prioritize trying to win the battle in the morning. So I always win the battle in the morning. So I get up in the morning time, every morning I go for a run. That's the first thing I do every morning. Haven't taken a day off of running since December 2016. Every day, up in the morning. So I also stretch out every day for about 2 to 3 hours, every day. I've missed 2 days in about 5.5, 6 years. So that's just my routine. And about 4 days a week, I'm in the gym hitting the weights. Because you know, you can't just be a runner. So this is every single day, the monotony of my life. But this is what builds discipline. You know, and not everybody, I'm not telling everybody to do this, but this is my lifestyle. This is how I build self-discipline.
What are some of the most valuable things you learned in the Navy, be it about yourself or?
You know what, some of the most valuable things, a lot of people say teamwork and stuff like that. Teamwork is big, but I learned that you have to be a good individual first. You have to triple down on your weaknesses, because a lot of times, like, you always count on your buddy next to you to help you out. Sometimes that buddy's not gonna be there. You gotta make sure that you are a jack of all trades and a master of all trades. And that's one thing, you gotta have your buddies back, they gotta have your back, but you gotta work on yourself every single day. And that's one thing that the military has to really, really triple down on. Is something that we're missing nowadays a lot, is that total accountability of every day, going back to boot camp in your mind. You may have grabbed, you know, boot camp sucks. SEAL training sucks. All these things suck, and people are so happy to get out of it, but that's what makes you good. Remember how you were when you got out of boot camp? You're kind of all like robotic and locked in, and then it slowly goes away. You get comfortable, you start to sag a little bit, start to walk around. You start to lose that militant discipline. That's the one thing I learned not to do in the military, is the military teaches you these great codes, ethics, morals, values. You gotta continue to work on those. Like everything, it's a muscle. You stop going to the gym, you stop running, you get weak. The military teaches you these great values of strength and honor and code and all these other things. But what we do is we don't keep up the discipline of all that stuff, and we lose it. So the one thing I learned is to not lose that thing, that boot camp, SEAL training, whatever you go to, whatever your A school is, whatever it is, keep that discipline up. That's the biggest thing.
Rule number 3, develop the belief system with Bob Proctor.
You're a spiritual being. That's who you are. You are pure, unadulterated spirit. You're an extension, an expression of God. Whatever your concept of God is, we see God as everything. The all-knowing power, that's all-powerful, all-knowing, omnipresent. And you're a spiritual, you're a spiritual expression. And as such, all knowledge is with you. You have all knowledge. You have all power. You just don't believe it. And to the degree that we believe it, we have it. And the trick of life, I see, is developing our belief system. Our belief system is based upon our evaluation of something. And frequently, if we reevaluate a situation, our belief about that situation will change. It took me 9.5 years to figure that out. I was sitting having something to eat with Val Vanderwall. He was a marvelous mentor of mine. And I had been reading the Bible, the New Testament, the Old Testament, the Book of Mormon, the Bhagavad Gita, the Quran, the Torah. I mean, I was seriously studying all this because there's only 2 sources of reference you can go to find out about yourself. One's science and the other's theology. And they all teach you essentially the same thing. They come at it from different angles. And in everywhere, they tell you got to believe. Belief is an absolute prerequisite. If you don't believe it, ain't going to happen. Well, I'm thinking, how do you believe? I mean, I'd ask somebody, how do you believe? Well, I don't know. How do you believe? I was having something to eat with him one day in the restaurant. I can still see the 2 of us sitting there. And in idle conversation that come out, he said, our belief system is based upon our evaluation of something. And frequently, if we reevaluate a situation, our belief about that situation will change. Well, it was just like rockets going off in my head. I got him to repeat what he said, and I realized that's why my life had changed. I was studying this nonstop, everything I could get my hands on. So I was continually reevaluating who I was. And because I continually reevaluate, my belief kept changing, it kept changing. And of course, my results kept changing. My results were a reflection of my own belief. I just know that if I get an idea, I can execute that idea. I don't know how long it's going to take me. I don't know where I'm going to get the resources, but I do know it's going to happen. That's what William James said, believe and your belief will create the fact.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Rule number 4, stop negative self-talk with Mel Robbins.
The way you talk to yourself matters. And if you're telling yourself you're a piece of garbage every single day, then you're going to make choices that reflect that because that's how you feel about yourself. So I know you've struggled with this yourself in recent years. What have been some of your best practices to know what you're saying to yourself and how it's impacting you, and then breaking those negative thought loops to be able to change it and start talking to yourself in a more compassionate way?
So let's break this down for everybody. Because what you just said is how you talk to yourself matters. And that is so true, right? And so there are a couple elements to getting control over your negative self-talk, breaking it apart, and replacing it with a new way of speaking to yourself. And so the first step is self-awareness, because I am willing to bet my mortgage on the fact that you have no idea just how negative and relentless and horrible your self-talk is. You're so used to it, you've tuned it out. So the first step in changing from trashing yourself and bashing yourself to learning how to have your default become positive is to become aware of just how nasty, disgusting, and awful your default way of talking to yourself is. And that's the hardest part. So that's the bad news. Here's the good news. You can change this. Like, yeah, it's not going to happen overnight, but through repetition, in less than 66 days, you can change how you feel about everything by changing how you speak to yourself. And, that's not just some dumb platitude that Doug and I have pulled out of thin air. When researchers study every single skill and every single behavior change that you could take on in the new year or at any moment in your life, the number one behavior change or skill that has the biggest impact on your happiness and your fulfillment is being kinder to yourself. And so if you could become aware of how often you trash yourself, and then we're going to teach you to interrupt it, and then we're going to teach you to replace it with something that is kind, you will see your whole life change. Your whole life change.
Rule number 5, shield your beliefs with John Assaraf.
When somebody is challenging your thoughts, somebody's challenging your identity, somebody's challenging your ideas, and you're allowing what they say to override what you know, in most cases, it's because you're lacking self-esteem yourself. You're lacking confidence with the product or the service or the idea. And so it really is never about what they're saying. It's about your interpretation and your automatic response to what they're saying. So the meaning that we give anything determines how we feel about it. So the question is, well, how do I change the meaning of what somebody says to me? How do I put a shield around myself when somebody says something negative to me so that it doesn't affect me? And one of the things, again, to do is instead of be in a state of reacting, be in a state of observation, be in a state of awareness of why is it when Joe or Mary or Harry or Sally said X, did I feel a certain way? And it's because of the meaning that we have given things in our own minds. And so the key is not to try and get people to say fewer of those things. The key is for us to be able to accept any kind of external stimuli and do with it what we choose. And is there a way that you can learn how to give anything that happens a positive meaning? That's number one. Number two, when most people have a negative comment, it's because of their experience, their story, their believability around that idea that is causing their reaction. So you can choose to accept it or you can choose to reject it. In either case, if you're the one making the choice, then you're never going to be a victim of somebody else's stimuli. And it reminds me of a wonderful little story about Buddha. He was walking into a village, and about an hour outside this village, this person came up to him and kept berating him, how silly he was, how stupid he was, how he wasn't there to serve people, he was there only for self-gain. And Buddha wasn't responding to this individual. He just kept sending him love and prayers and good wishes. And finally, just before they got into town, this guy said, well, I'm antagonizing you. I'm telling you all these negative things. How come you're not responding to me? And Buddha said something brilliant. He said, listen, if somebody offers you a gift and you choose not to accept the gift, to whom does the gift belong? And so obviously, if somebody's giving you feedback that isn't going to serve you, just don't accept the feedback. Just don't accept it as part of your truth or reality. Stay true to your own knowing. Stay true to your own confidence and certainty. And that way you'll be in control of your own destiny versus what people say or don't say.
And rule number 6, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is heal your negative core beliefs with Douglas Block.
What are core beliefs?
Core beliefs are basic assumptions about our life and the world that we pick up when we're very young in childhood. We get these core beliefs through our parents, our relatives, our peers, our teachers, the culture, the churches, synagogues we go to, and what people say and how they act. We basically learn from these experiences and develop beliefs about ourselves and how the world works.
What are some examples of core beliefs?
Well, I'm going to give some examples, but I'm going to preface that by saying that many of these core beliefs, as a matter of fact, the majority of them are negative. 70 to 80% say psychologists. So some example of negative core beliefs are, I don't deserve love, I'm no good, I'm worthless, the world is a dangerous place, you can't trust people, I'm not competent, I'm not capable, I can't handle things, etc., etc. Those are some core beliefs, the negative ones at least.
Why do these beliefs persist?
Well, first of all, let's go back and see how we get them. When our caregivers, when people at large, when the world is treating us in a certain way, before the age of 7, we have what Maria Montessori calls the absorbent mind. And the information that gets presented to us as children comes in just directly. We have no filter. It's like a sponge. We absorb it without any questioning or criticism. So if a parent is acting negatively or abusively towards us, we don't say, hey, what's their problem? We think it's our problem. Now, once that we've internalized those things, then as we grow up, the problem is that we start to repeat them over and over to ourselves. So no longer do we need the external authority telling us that we're no good. We just tell ourselves the same thing. So it's the constant repetition as we grow older that reinforces the beliefs that we took on when we were younger.
How do these core beliefs lead to being depressed or anxious?
In cognitive therapy, we are told that how we think and what we believe affects how we feel. And I'll give you 2 examples, one negative, one positive. So one of my clients, when she was younger, her mother always used to tell her, watch out, be careful. She was a very hypervigilant, anxious mother. So from that, those messages, the child came to believe, I'm not capable and the world is a dangerous place. And she repeated those to herself, really internalized them. So by the time she came to me when she was 29, she was living at home and had something called agoraphobia, was afraid of going out into the world and was really struggling to go to school and to find work. But in the back of her mind, she kept thinking the world's dangerous, I can't handle things, and that's what was keeping her stuck. On the other hand, a man that I met at a workshop told me that when he was young, when he was 4 years old, his mother used to say to him, whisper in his ear before he went to bed, you can do anything that you want, there are no limits to what you can achieve. Now, these were really positive messages he absorbed in his subconscious mind, so when he grew up, he was confident, he felt good about himself, he started his own business, and he became quite successful. The beautiful thing about this story is now he repeats the same words to his own daughter, giving her the same positive messages that he was given by his parents. So this can perpetuate itself and create, generations of new and healthy individuals.
How can we discover what our core beliefs are?
So there are 2 ways that you can kind of infer your core beliefs. One is to look around in your world and to see, like, where are, especially the negative ones, because that's what we're interested in here, where in your life you feel stuck. So like one person, a woman who came to my workshop was always sort of leaving relationships before they had a chance to really consolidate. Well, turned out that her father had died when she was young, and she had this belief, if I get too close to men, they'll abandon me. So as long as she had that core belief, she wasn't going to allow herself to get into a really significant relationship. The other way is to fill in the following sentences with your own words. I am blank, you are blank, the world is blank. Fill in the words of those 3 sentences and notice the tenor of what you write. If it's pessimistic, if it's negative, that shows that you are carrying some negative assumptions about the world. And one example of this is what Lily Tomlin once said, the world will get worse before it gets worse. The world will get worse before it gets worse. And she clearly had a negative, some negative conditioning.
What tools can we use to change these core beliefs?
Well, in cognitive therapy, which is a major branch of psychology that's used to teach depression, they talk about taking the thoughts that we have, the beliefs that we have, and restructuring them to eliminate the negative or irrational beliefs and substitute positive beliefs in their place. So, for example, I was someone who didn't really feel competent and capable growing up from my conditioning. So what I started to say to myself when I started to learn affirmations was things like, I'm capable, I'm competent, I can handle things, I am resourceful. That was a big one. I can attract the help I need. I have the ability to create support for myself in my life. That was a really great affirmation one of my therapists gave me. I have the ability to create support for myself in my life. So that's an example of how you can use affirmations and positive self-talk to reprogram negative beliefs. And I think this is so important that, one, I've devoted a chapter to it in my book, and I plan on making a video about this at a later date. So for right now, just remember, you have these core beliefs you've taken on from childhood. Maybe at the beginning you didn't have the power to determine what they were, but now as a conscious adult, you can choose to believe differently about yourself and about the world, and thereby help yourself to heal from depression.
So as you guys know, entrepreneurship is tough. It's one of the hardest things you're ever going to do in your life. And there's so many ups and downs in running the business that if you lose your positivity, if you start to get negative, then it's going to be really, really hard to keep your business going, because you need to be that force. You need to be that positive person that's infecting others to go and do this impossible thing that nobody thought was possible to do, right? You need to have that positivity, because if you give up, everything crumbles. So today I'm going to talk about 7 ways that you guys can use to stay positive, even when there's craziness and crap happening all around you. So number 1 is belief. No surprise coming from me. It's important to believe in what you're all about and believe in the mission. And believe breaks down to me is believe in what you're doing. So have passion, right? Whatever project you're working on, you need to believe in it. You need to have the passion behind that project. It's believe in yourself, having the confidence to know that you can do this and believe that it's going to work out. So have the conviction to keep going and to follow through. At the end of the day, what really helps is remembering your why. What is the big thing that you are trying to accomplish with your business, with your idea? Because that can help you stay motivated. Because sometimes you get so lost in the weeds of the day-to-day grind that you forget about the big purpose, the big mission that you're on. And for me, remembering why I'm doing this, what the reason is behind something, that can help you get through those hard times, those dark days. So believe and remember why you're doing this. Number 2 is create a great environment. It's super important that you have an environment that makes you come alive, that builds you up, that lifts your spirits, that makes you believe that you are, the best version of yourself. And so I'm filming here in my office. You can see some of the stuff behind me, right? You've got Steve Jobs here and Howard Schultz here and my parents here, and there's other famous entrepreneurs on my wall. I want to create an environment that I walk into and I feel enriched and I feel happy. And it's hard to walk in, like I'm working here. This is my desk. I'm working here and I've got like these people looking at me. I walk into the room and I've got these people looking at me and it inspires me, right? And that's me. Like you may look at that and say, that's really stupid. I don't want to have those people on my wall. That's creepy to have these big faces up on the wall. Whatever it is, right? That helps me. And so creating an environment that makes you come alive. Think about what's on the walls, what's on your computer, what's on the phone background, what apps do you use, right? Like what's around you? Who are the people in your life? What books do you read? What are the videos that you watch? What are the things that are around you that help build you to be the person that you could be? Because you know the feeling. If you're around negative people, if you're watching the news all the time, you're gonna start feeling really negative. Where if you're surrounded by positive things, uplifting things, resources that build you up, that give you ideas, that make you feel creative, that make you have confidence, that's so much better for you. It's better for your health, it's better for the creations that you'll put out, and it's better for the world. And so don't make your environment something that just happens to you by accident. Consciously create it for yourself so you've made an environment that helps you be the best version of you. Number 3 is help someone. It's really hard to feel down, to be negative, to have a bad attitude when you're helping somebody else out. And so a great way out of the doldrums is to help somebody. It could be somebody in your business, it could be a customer, it could be a partner, it could be an employee, it could be a supplier. But it could be somebody on the street. It could be the person behind you, in Starbucks, pay for their coffee, right? And just something, holding the door for somebody, something where they would appreciate. It could be a handwritten note to somebody. It doesn't have to cost you money. It doesn't have to cost you a lot of money or any money. It just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of awareness and appreciation to find somebody in your life that you know or you're about to know, to find a way to contribute to them in some way that makes them feel good. And when you make somebody else feel good, naturally you just make yourself feel good. Even going on the comments of this video and responding to some of the other people who've left comments makes them feel good, right? Recognize them, appreciate them, thank them for their insights. That will make them feel good, but in that process, it makes you feel good too. So if you're ever feeling down or negative, a quick way out is to help somebody. Number 4 is improve your habits. Just like the environment that you're in is super important, so are the habits, because you are what you consistently do. So what do you consistently do? Do you engage in negative habits? Do you engage in things that bring you down? Or do you engage in habits that are meant to build you up? So what does your morning routine look like? What does your evening routine look like? What does your schedule look like on a day-to-day basis? Is it something that helps build you up, or do you just fall into it by accident because you're so rushed to get through the day? Right? If you don't have 10 minutes to spend on creating an ideal schedule and life for yourself, or 10 minutes in the morning to center yourself, then you don't deserve to have the great things. You don't deserve to have an amazing life, right? Spend the time. You have 10 minutes to focus yourself. And so what are the habits that you are doing consistently? What does your day look like consistently? So for me, I wanted to have more greatness around me, right? And so I put the habit of watching the videos every day. I made the top 10 videos and Espresso videos for me, selfishly, because I wanted it. I wanted to be around these big name entrepreneurs who've done big things, and I watch them and I get inspired because it's so easy to be complacent. It's so easy to wake up and just fall back into your usual habit and routine, where here, I watch somebody doing something big and man, I gotta go out and do something bigger myself. And I need that every day, because I'm all pumped up and excited today on Wednesday, filming it for you guys, jacked up, super excited. Tomorrow I'm gonna wake up and it's starting all over again. So I need to have something in my morning routine to get me fired up again, to help me push beyond my safe comfort zone to something that makes me do something that's new and scary and different and exciting. And so what are your habits? What do you do consistently? What is your morning routine? Is it engineered for you to be a success instead of you falling into it by accident? Create positive habits. Number 5 is have accountability. It can be really hard to only be accountable to yourself, because you'll tend to do the things that you just want to do and not push yourself to where you could go. And I think as entrepreneurs, it's especially hard because we don't have a boss, right? Yeah, you have a customer who may be pushing you on a deadline. Okay, great, you work hard to get that deadline down. But otherwise, you don't have a boss. You get to make all the decisions yourself. There's nobody pushing you to say, hey, you could do a lot better. And so having an accountability partner, having a mastermind group, having a place where you can share your goals and have people hold you accountable to them, and even just putting it out in public. Post on this video, go to the comments and say some of your goals and what you want to accomplish within the next month. What do you have on your radar? What are you trying to accomplish, right? Even just posting it up makes you feel a little bit more accountable. And that's important, because you will tend to let yourself down too much. We won't let other people down. You'll show up for that meeting. You'll show up to go to that gym class if somebody else is there with you because they're counting on you to be there. You won't let other people down nearly as much as you let yourself down. So use that to your advantage and partner up with people. And you can help them too, right? This ties into the other point about helping each other out. You can help them stay accountable on their goals. And if you know that you're meeting this person next week and you haven't done the thing that you said you were gonna do, you're more likely to bust into higher gear to make sure you get that thing done, because you don't wanna let them down. And so use that hack to help you get the stuff done that you need to get done. Have more accountability. Number 6 is be grateful. And talking about positive habits, one of the things that I do every day in my team is we have a private Facebook group where we talk about 3 things that we're grateful for every day. So every day you log in to Facebook and you have to add 3 things that you're grateful for. And it may take you 2 minutes to do, but it's really hard to hold gratitude in your mind and some negative or angry thought. And some of the things we are grateful for, they might be a big thing. Like I might be grateful for Hayden, I'm grateful for Nina, I'm grateful for my parents, grateful to live in this beautiful city, have this life that I do. And some of them are more esoteric, like I'm grateful for the internet. I'm grateful that Alex brought me a coffee today. I'm grateful that I have my own clothing line. I can be grateful for a lot of different. I'm grateful there's a sun shining on me today, that it's a beautiful day outside, right? If you take a couple minutes, not just to write them down, but to actually feel it, to feel the gratitude, to feel the warmth of the sun, to feel the love of your mom, to feel, if you have kids or pets or plants that, that you really love, to feel that, then it's really hard to feel that gratitude and be negative about something at the same time. It's really hard to hold that in your head. Let me ask you guys, one of the things I'm thinking about doing is doing a live stream every weekday morning, maybe 10 o'clock, I haven't figured it out, for 10 minutes, just expressing gratitude. For me to share 3 things that I'm grateful for, the same 3 things that I make my team do, but then for you guys also to share some of the things that you're grateful for. And you can join me on the journey and join me in the ritual that every day we do this together and share the things that we're grateful for. I'm thinking about doing it as a live stream on the channel. I'm really curious to see what you guys think, if you like that idea or not, because it's had a profound impact on me. If you look at the research around happiness, it always comes down to gratitude. It's not about the money you have or the car you have or the job you have or any of that stuff. It's about being grateful for what you do have. That's consistent across all the research. And so it's had a big impact on me. It's had a big impact on my team. I'm always looking at how can I help you guys? How can I help the entrepreneurs out in Michigan or Ohio or Australia, wherever you guys all are from, that I can't connect with you one-on-one, to do this thing where we spend 10 minutes together expressing our gratitude for the day? Let me know. Do you guys want to do it? Is that interesting to you? Do you feel it's too fluffy, BS, hokey pokey, not interested? Let me know. Because if enough of you want to do it, then I just might do it. So curious, leave that in the comments below. So that's number 6, be grateful. And then number 7 is live your one word. It's super important that you know what you stand for and that you start living it, because chances are if you are unhappy, if you're not satisfied with what's going on, if you are a negative constantly, it's because too many things in your life are not aligned with what your one word is all about. And your one word is finding, for me it's believe, but for you it's likely something else. It's figuring out what you stand for as a human being. What is the most important core value to you? It's what my book is all about. What is the most important core value to you? And then how can you build a business and a life around it so that is congruent for you, so that doors open more easily for you, so that decisions are made more easily. Understanding who you are and what you stand for makes everything a lot smoother and easier compared to just reacting to things and reacting to other people's agenda. Set your own. And so again, if you are unhappy with something, if you're not satisfied, it's likely because too many of the things in your life are out of congruency with your one word. You're doing too many things that are not aligned with who you are as a human being. And so understanding what it is that you stand for and then building a life and a business around it really dramatically improves the chance of you being happy, positive, but also having a huge impact and creating something maybe even way bigger than you thought you'd be able to create. So live your one word. And if you need help trying to figure out what that is, you can always pre-order the book. It's a great read, I guarantee. But even if you don't, understanding who you are, what you stand for, and living a life around it will dramatically change your life.
Before April 1954, the common belief, the universal belief, because it had been tried again and again and again and people had failed, the belief was that man was not physically capable of breaking the 4-minute barrier, that he could not run a mile in less than 4 minutes. When something happens to them, they begin to believe that that's the way it is. That's the way it's always been, and they can't see the possibility of it being any different.
250 yards to go, and Bannister takes over. Watch his giant stride take him to the front as he races the last lung-bursting furlong.
Roger Bannister came along, and he broke the 4-minute barrier. Since that time, up to this day, over 20,000 people have done it, including high school kids. 20,000 people. What changed? Here's what happened when they got on the track. They knew it had been done. And because they knew it had been done, there was a new belief about this barrier that was unreachable. And those 20,000 people got in a race believing, knowing in their heart that someone had done it, that it's possible that they could do it. If someone can make their dream become a reality, then you can make your dream become reality. Eyesight and mindsight. Eyesight is judging on what you see, judging according to appearances. But mindsight is how you interpret what you see. One guy said, "It's not possible, it's over, I'm finished. I can't do it. I can't make it." He surrendered. I've faced rejection again and again. I'm not going anymore. There are no jobs out there. But this other guy, he felt that in spite of the no's and rejections, in spite of how bad the economy is, in spite of what the newspapers are saying, that it's possible that somebody somewhere will give me a job. He just kept going, thinking it was possible. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That's what we have to do with our dreams. Because things happen to you in life that you can never, ever anticipate. And many times when those things happen, you want to give up. Easy is not an option. It's hard living. Life is hard. See, it's hard when you are 49 years old, been working on a job for 17 years, and they come in and tell you you're finished and give you 1 week severance pay. And you got to start all over again. It's hard handling just the tragedies of life. It's hard. When you're working on something and you put everything you have in it, and it doesn't work out, you lose your money and other people's money. You know what I discovered? When you're working at your dream, somebody said the harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. It's good to you. Why? See, what you become in the process is more important than the dream. That's far more important. The kind of person you become, the character that you build, the courage that you develop, the faith that you're manifesting. Oh, it's something that you get up in the morning, you look yourself in the mirror, you're a different kind of person. You walk with a different kind of spirit. You've got to have that kind of courage, that type of determination. If you want to make it happen, it's you. But you've got to take personal responsibility to make it happen. You must have faith. You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe in your abilities. You've got to believe in your service, your company, your ideas, unquestionably. You've got to have faith, and that faith gives you patience. That it's not going to happen as quickly as you want it to happen.
It's your dream. If you want it to happen, get your butt up and make it happen. If you want it to happen, rise and grind.
I dare you not to go back to sleep. I dare you to get up, and I dare you to chase your dreams.
It's possible you can win. Whatever comes to you, don't run from it. Don't try and duck it like most people do. Step toward it. You want to make your dream come true, you got to stay focused. Some people rather get even than get ahead. Stay focused on where you want to go. Where are you going with your life?
Tell us about some of the jobs that you've held over the years selling and what you've sold and some of the the lessons that you learned in selling over the years?
Well, I sold heavy-duty waterless cookware on the door-to-door demonstration plan, and that was a marvelous experience. It took me, the first 2.5 years, I struggled financially. Now, that doesn't mean I didn't sell a lot, because I did. I sold my furniture, sold my car. And that's fairly close to the truth. It really was. Then I went to a meeting, and a man named P.C. Merrill, who's an American Indian, persuaded me that I could be the #1 salesman in America out of the 7,000-member sales force. He said, you've got everything that it takes to be a great salesman, if you just believed in yourself and went to work on a regular schedule.
And this is in the cookware business.
That's
still.
right.
Okay.
And I put on the demonstration and door-to-door sales and so forth. I'd never had anybody say something like that to me. You could be a great one. You could be the national champion. Now, I've always been loved, but nobody ever thought of me as a champion. Because of Mr. Merrill's integrity, and because he had written the training program, and because he had set all of the records, I took him absolutely at his word. The previous year, I had not been in the top 5,000 out of that 7,000-member sales force. But the year after Mr. Merrill got through with me, I was #2 out of the 7,000. Had received the best promotion that was available in the company at that time. And the interesting thing about the success that year, he did not really teach me that much about sales. I'd been in it 2.5 years at that point. But what he did teach me was about who I was. The picture I had of myself changed dramatically. I started thinking as a champion and performing as a champion. And I did finish #2 and had that wonderful promotion.
Because you made it this far in a video, I want to celebrate you. Most people start and don't finish. Most people never actually follow through. Most people say they want something, but they don't ever do the work to actually get it. But you are different. You are special. Believe Nation, you made it here all the way to the end, and I love you. So as a special celebration, if you put a hashtag believe down in the comments below on this video, I will showcase you and celebrate you somewhere on the screen in a future video, because you are awesome. If you want some powerful morning motivation, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
And perspective simply reminds us to go to 50,000 feet on a bad day and count our blessings. Perspective simply reminds us that things could be a lot worse.